The Moonlight Forest Party. Once upon a time, in the depths of a lush green forest, there lived a curious and energetic rabbit named Minosh. Minosh loved venturing out of her burrow every day, exploring new places and embarking on adventures. However, Minosh never left her burrow at night, as the dark forest seemed a bit frightening to her. One day, a full moon rose in the sky. The moonlight bathed the forest in a soft glow. Minosh was curled up in her burrow, getting ready to sleep, when a strange sound reached her ears. Plink plonk, plink plonk. Minosh perked up her ears. What could that sound be? She wondered. Her curiosity got the better of her, and she stepped out of her burrow. The forest, illuminated by the moonlight, looked so beautiful that Minosh realized she wasn't afraid of the dark for the first time. As she walked along the path, she stepped on a pile of leaves. Suddenly, the leaves began to move, and out came a little hedgehog named Tom. "Minosh, what are you doing out at this hour?" Tom asked. "There's a strange sound coming from the forest," Minosh replied excitedly. "I'm trying to figure out what it is." Tom nodded thoughtfully. "I heard it too, but I didn't dare check it out. Let's go together. It's safer with two." Together, Tom and Minosh set out to find the source of the sound. As they walked under the moonlight, a bird fluttered out from the branches. It was Lila, a cheerful finch. "Where are you two headed at this hour?" chirped Lila. "There's a strange sound coming from the forest," Minosh said. "It goes plink plonk. We're trying to find out what it is." Lila flapped her wings in excitement. "Count me in. I wouldn't want to miss something like this." The trio continued deeper into the forest. By the riverbank, they met an old turtle named Pity, who had a wise smile on his face as always. "What are you young ones doing out so late?" Pity asked. "There's a strange sound coming from the forest," Tom explained. "We're trying to figure out what it is." Pity nodded sagely. "Count me in. Solving mysteries in this forest is always an adventure." Now, with 4 friends, the group ventured further into the forest. The sound was growing clearer and louder. Finally, they arrived at the largest tree in the forest, the great oak where the wise elder, Mr. Owl, lived. The tree was surrounded by a magical light, and the sounds of laughter, songs, and music could be heard coming from within. Minosh and her friends approached cautiously. What they saw left them speechless. Around the tree, a grand party was underway. Birds danced in the air, squirrels swung from the branches, and frogs leaped playfully by the river. Colorful lights shimmered among the branches. From the highest branch, Mr. Owl called out to them, "Welcome, dear friends. This is the Moonlight Forest Party. Every full moon, we gather here to celebrate our friendship. We're delighted to have you join us." Minosh, Tom, Leela, and Pity were overjoyed to be part of the festivities. They sang songs, played games, and listened to everyone's stories. As the night wore on, Mr. Owl flew down to a large rock and signaled for silence. Everyone turned their attention to him. "My dear friends," began Mr. Owl, "I want to tell you why this party is so special. This tradition comes from a very old story." All eyes were on Mr. Owl as he spread his wings and took a deep breath. Long ago, our forest wasn't as peaceful as it is now. The animals lived far apart and never helped each other. The forest was quiet and lonely. But one night, a terrible storm changed everything. The animals listened intently as Mr. Owl continued. That night, the sky grew dark, winds uprooted trees, and rain poured like a river. The forest was flooded, and everyone was scared. But that night, something miraculous happened. A little squirrel named Lilo gathered her courage and built a bridge out of branches to save a family of rabbits caught in the flood. Her bravery inspired the other animals. Turtles carried stranded animals on their backs. Birds rescued fallen chicks, and every animal worked together for the first time. The forest was silent, captivated by the story. Mr. Owl's voice trembled slightly as he went on. When the storm ended, the full moon rose in the sky. Under its light, the animals gathered together for the first time. That night marked the beginning of unity in our forest, and in memory of that day, we hold this party every full moon. Minosh and her friends were deeply moved by the story. They now understood why the forest was such a special place. That night, under the light of the full moon, everyone danced, sang, and celebrated the joy of being together. As the night went on, the animals gradually began to return to their homes. Before parting, Minosh and her friends hugged each other and promised to meet again at the next full moon party. As Minosh arrived back at her burrow, she looked up at the moon in the sky and felt a sense of peace wash over her. "Tonight was the most wonderful night of my life," she whispered. She closed her eyes under the moonlight and drifted into a sweet, peaceful sleep, filled with happy dreams.